Ethics, Positionality, and Power in Supervision. Exploring ethical and relational dynamics of supervision. Ubuntu Boto in academic mentorship. I want to begin with a simple claim. Supervision is not an administrative pathway to a thesis. It is a moral relationship that shapes a scholar, a discipline, and an institution. Every decision we take, what counts as rigor, whose literature is foundational, how quickly feedback arrives, who gets credited, redistributes power. If we pretend supervision is neutral, power hides. When we name it, power can be made ethical. Positionality, who we are, shapes what we see. I speak as an African scholar, an executive dean, grounded in Ubuntu, Boto, Motoke Moto Kabato. My sense of good supervision is therefore relational. Dignity before metrics, growth before gatekeeping. Justice as method, not just outcome. I ask each of us to surface our own lenses, disciplinary, cultural, gendered, linguistic, and state them to our students. Reflexive disclosure is not self-indulgence. It is an ethical technology that reduces epistemic surprise and helps students read our feedback in context. 3 persistent tensions we must supervise ethically. Care versus control. Students need guidance. Control creeps in when timelines, templates, and the way we do things here become unchallengeable. Ethical practice. Co-create a supervision charter in the first month. Meeting cadence, turnaround times, authorship rules, data and ethics boundaries, escalation paths. Revisit it at milestones. Excellence versus equity. If excellence is coded as proximity to Euro-American canons or a single methodological orthodoxy, equity loses. Ethical practice. Require students to justify their choices on their own terms, not to mimic our preferences. Make space for multilingual scholarship, practice-led work, and community knowledge, especially in creative disciplines. Originality versus protection. We demand novelty, then push students into unsafe political or intellectual property terrain. Ethical practice. Foreground harm minimization, negotiated consent with communities, and explicit intellectual property plans. Teach ethical exit routes when field conditions change. 3 Power made visible, a framework. Power in supervision is institutional, epistemic, and procedural. We cannot remove power. We can civilize it. Institutional power. Translate rules humanely. Don't weaponize policy shifts midstream. Advocate prospective implementation. Where policies are unclear, for example, oral defenses and arbitration logic, log issues and escalate through DRCs, FRIC, EXCO, faculty board, and HDC with written proposals, ensure that students must not pay for our ambiguity. Epistemic power. Name your canon and its limits. Invite countercanons. In feedback, replace "this is weak" with "here is the standard I am using. Here is how your argument can meet it or strategically subvert it." Procedural power. Bureaucracy can both protect and suffocate. Use forms as scaffolds, not shackles. Where online systems reduce delay and bias, advocate for them. Time kills hope, so institutional delays are ethical issues, not clerical inconveniences. 4. Ubuntu/Boto as supervisory method. Ubuntu is more than warmth. It is a disciplined ethic. Recognition. Student first as a person. Context. Language. Caregiving load. Visa constraints. Adjust plans without diluting standards. Reciprocity. Supervisors are also learners. Schedule sessions where you ask questions about the student's epistemic world, not only test it. Accountability with care. Feedback is timely, specific, and usable. Missed deadlines carry explanations and recovery plans. Communal authorship. Be explicit about credit, contributions, and co-publishing pathways. Teach students the politics of citation and how to avoid extractivism in community-engaged work. 5 practical protocols you can adopt tomorrow. Supervision Charter, 2 pages. Roles, timelines, authorship, data ethics, conflict escalation, artificial intelligence use policy, well-being boundaries. Reflexive positionality. Note 1/2 page. You share yours, invite theirs. Revisited proposal and pre-submission. Feedback, discipline. 10 to 15 working days for chapter feedback. Use a triad. What works, what is missing, how to fix. Track in a shared log. Assessment, integrity, pre-mortem. Before examiners, map likely critiques, rehearse oral defense as scholarly dialogue, not interrogation. Equity guardrails. For international and first-generation scholars, pre-book admin milestones, intent to submit, examiner nominations with buffers. Appoint a process buddy in the department to help navigate forms and finance letters. 6. Creative disciplines. Ethics of making, not just writing. In practice-led research, the artifact, the process, and the exegesis are co-constitutive. Supervision must, therefore, treat studios, stages, and communities as sites of knowledge, not mere illustration. Embed consent, representation, and cultural IP protocols from the outset. Evaluate coherence between artifact, theory, and method, not prose polish alone. 7 critical provocations to take back to your committees. From throughput to thriving. Replace time to degree as the sole key performance indicator with formative indicators. Feedback latency, student agency, ethical risk management, community benefit. From anonymity to accountable scholarship, where appropriate and consented, allow examiner identification. Post-examination to enable mentorship and a genuine community of practice. From majority rule to reasoned judgment, clarify resubmission versus fail, build an arbitration pathway that aligns with national norms while protecting students from idiosyncratic gatekeeping. From compliance to conscience, demand that any policy change mid-cycle includes an impact statement and prospective start date. If we supervise only for completion, we graduate compliant technicians. If we supervise ethically, with positional reflexivity, visible power, and Ubuntu discipline, we graduate scholar citizens who can originate knowledge and protect the world that receives it. That is the promise of ethical supervision, and the standard we must hold ourselves to. FAD Doctoral Academy, building supervisory excellence through justice, integrity, and Ubuntu creative. Distinctive. Impactful, the DUT way,